Imagine that your life changes overnight with a huge shift unexpectedly. Imagine that you start feeling low because you're not able to maintain a good health. How would that make you feel? Now imagine that you're able to take control of your life, your mental, emotional, and physical health by proactively taking care of yourself in a holistic way. How does that sound? Something similar happened to this human being when she got an unexpected call from her home while she was in New York City and got to know that her father was ill and hospitalized. She moved back to India and the entire responsibility of business fell on her shoulders. Coming from a clinical social work background, she had no idea of business at that point of time. But she felt that if her father would not have been ill, then things might have been different. She started gaining on extra weight few years back and slipping into a low phase of mental and emotional state. All these things started joining the dots one by one, and then she decided to take this as a challenge. She believes that everyone has a responsibility to stay fit and healthy. And after that, there was no turning back. She is famously known as the vegan Khaleesi, a renowned fitness and lifestyle expert in the domain of plant based nutrition. She is also the director at few franchise of Gold Gym in Bangalore, an avid animal lover, body transformation expert, PCOS or PCOD reversal expert, featured in various national media and newspapers as well. She is none other than Roshni Sangvi, who is not just helping people to become fit and healthy, but also intensifying humanity to her best possible extent. So, Roshni, welcome to Intensify Humanity podcast. And I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Somdada. Thank you so much for that introduction. It was quite a flash down memory lane. A lot going on there, yeah.
Amazing. So, Roshni, I've been following you, and you are one of the person who is, spreading the awareness, and not just spreading the awareness, also helping transform people's life in a holistic level in terms of health, fitness, nutrition, everything balanced all over. So, my first question to you would be, why vegan, and what is vegan specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So I personally believe in and follow a plant-based diet, which is very similar to a vegan diet, a little bit different, but very similar to a vegan diet. I came across a plant-based diet when I was about in my mid 20s and absolutely fell in love with it. I took up a 1 week challenge just for myself because I always knew it was healing. I knew it was, it was good for your body. But the idea of, plant-based diet says no to all kinds of animal products, from consuming any form of animal products, be it honey, which comes from bees, be it dairy products, which come from cows, or be it alternative dairy products like camel milk and goat milk, which also come from animal, and of course, meat and eggs. So you could think of it as a one step over vegetarian diet. While a vegetarian diet does include some animal products, it does include dairy products and sometimes eggs. A plant-based diet is one step over that. For me personally, it was 100% health. Of course, people follow a plant-based diet for multiple reasons. It could be the environmental impacts of dairy, or it could be ethical reasons in the way cows are treated, and like dairy farms and slaughterhouses. But for me it was 100% health, and that was the only reason. I came across this book called The China Study, where I started seeing the impacts of dairy on the human body. And personally, being in bodybuilding and being in fitness, I was hardcore into fitness that time. I was preparing myself for a competition, and I was working out a lot. I was physically, very, very, very active. I was working out about 2 hours a day for myself, and then seeing a lot of clients and being very physically active. And I constantly had joint pains. I had really, really bad skin, and I had a bad gut. Um, I was working with a nutritionist at that time who also put me on a high dairy diet, because on a I was vegetarian all my life. So what she said was, on a vegetarian diet, the only source of protein is dairy. So there was a lot of paneer in my diet and a lot of milk in my diet, and my joint pains got worse. And this is at the age of like 25, 26, or even younger. Imagine having joint pains. But when I was speaking to my staff about it, my trainers and other people in the gym, they said, "Oh, that's normal. That's very common. When you're lifting weights, you have joint pains." and it was just taken. You just take word of mouth, what people say. We're also being told constantly that dairy is good for bones and dairy is good for protein. It's a protein source and it's a calcium source. So you never question that. You really never question that. But when I started studying nutrition myself, I got a degree on holistic nutrition. I started with being, a plant-based nutrition, sports nutrition, and then upgraded to being a holistic nutrition. So while I was studying this, I started reading the research on dairy. I came across the book, The China Study, which I highly suggest everyone in the health and fitness industry needs to read it. Everyone in the healthcare system must definitely read it. Which showed so much. It sort of brought attention to what dairy really does in the body, how carcinogenic it is, how acidic it is, and how it's really bad for the bones. So I decided to take a 1 week challenge just to clear up my skin. My joint pains wasn't even concerned because I literally learned to live with it, like most of us do. But if you have a disease, you pop a pill, you learn to live with it. It's just that. But I wanted to clear up my skin, so I was like, okay, let me go off dairy for a week and see what happens. By day 5, my joint pains went away, and this was like, I was like, how is this even possible? By day 5, I didn't have pain, something that I mentally and physically just learned to live with. My energy levels went up instead of going down. And because I was consciously lifting weights to prepare myself for a competition, I was measuring, I was calculating how much I'm able to lift on a weekly basis. So I had numbers down, and I saw that my strength and endurance, both aspects went up. I'm sorry, I'll just repeat that. And I saw that my strength and endurance, both aspects were going up. So contrary to what people say, I was getting stronger on being off dairy. The 1 week became 1 month, and it's been like a few years now, and I haven't looked back. I upgraded myself in terms of educating myself. So now I choose a vegan diet for myself, and I work with clients only on a plant-based diet because I know the impacts of dairy on the body, not like from personal experience, but by reading studies, by looking at the research, which anyone can really do. Just go on Google and look at the research, and see how bad dairy is for the body, how it's linked to diabetes, type 1 and type 2 diabetes, hypertension, PCOS, thyroid. And I'm working with these clients, helping them reverse the conditions. And I refuse to put anything on my client's plate which I know is wrong. So a lot of times when I have clients who are transitioning and say, hey, but I want to try a vegan diet, but I'm not fully there, can I include dairy for the first month? I'm like, I cannot consciously tell you to eat something which I know is doing bad for your body. And people in this age and time, you tell them about crazy diets like, fasting diet and eating only fruits and eating only juice, drinking only juices. They are more willing to follow that. But when you tell people to literally make changes in your lifestyle and eat right and eat healthy, that seems like a burden. So I want to change that in people, that diet does not have to be negative, and it doesn't have to be temporary. It has to be a permanent solution, and associate a positive term to it. When you talk about diet, it's really changing your food habits for the rest of your life. It's not temporary. Yeah.
This is amazing because when you shared about you just experimenting for 5, 7 days,
Yeah.
this is what when I did not even know what vegan is or anything like that, there could be a plant-based diet, something. So a few years back, I started experimenting myself and I went back my memory lane when you exactly shared that because I had lots of skin related issues like pimple and this and that, and there were so many treatments done on hormonal changes.
Yeah.
So all the dermatologists and everyone gave me heavy dose of medicines telling that it is normal, it is hormonal. And it was like a shock or a surprising thing for me when I just experimented myself because I was like a milk lover. I used to drink milk like every single day, 1 glass. And just 7 days, I just stopped having milk or paneer or anything.
Yeah.
And like magically my skin started changing. I was like shocked. Of course I don't come from a background of any kind of nutrition or fitness or anything, but that as a layman, I was just seeing the change that was doing to my skin. And surprisingly, Roshni, you won't like bloating, feeling heaviness, that thing went away just within 7 days. So that
Absolutely.
was a huge thing which I noticed when I did not even have any kind of idea about this. So thank you for sharing that. That
Yeah, of course.
definitely makes
It
sense now.
sounds like, when we are talking about it now, when people listening to it, it sounds like a voodoo. How can your skin just, get cleared in 7 days, and how can your joint pains go away? But it does. I'm working with clients, especially in the geriatric years, when they are in their late 50s, 60s. One of the clients, which right now, because I just had a consultation with her, I can think of, she's in her mid 50s, and have struggled with, she struggled with migraines for the past 30 years, migraines and vomiting constantly. So every single day since the past 30 years, she's been taking Crocin and Migranol, two medications, every single day for the past 30 years. Um, but still continues to have headaches now and then, and still has vomitings very, very commonly, very often. We've got her off medications in 2 weeks. So no Crocin, no Migranol, and she's not had a single episode of headaches or vomiting, and in just 2 weeks. And when I was speaking to her right now, because the incident just happened, she was literally in tears, and she's like, 30 years of my life, no one told me, not a single doctor told me that eating right could fix your migraines. No one told me, and they put me on medication after medication to solve it. I wish I'd met you back then. 2 weeks. Just imagine, your body is so powerful. Your body is so powerful. Just tap into it, eat right, and heal yourself. Don't learn to live with the disease. Yeah.
Absolutely. And recently I made a post related to this when you said that, 1 or 2 weeks are enough. It's like nobody told us. So,
Yeah.
as I said, I went to the doctors and also asked them, okay, do I need to change something in my food, etc.? They said, no, food has nothing to do with it. You take these medicines. And I was like, how can this be? How can this be? And I wasted so much of money into that over 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, and just those 7 days changed the entire game altogether. And like, just like you said, like, it is possible when people actually start doing it themselves and see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's amazing. And thank you for sharing that, Roshni. So, based on this, I also definitely want to ask you one factor, that you are working in a domain where, honestly speaking, the awareness is very less given the kind of population we have
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
given the conditioning we have.
Yeah.
So, did you face any kind of challenge or any kind of, heat or anything that happened?
Challenges 100%. I say this to people generally, I lose out lakhs of business per month because people are just so scared to transition to a vegan diet. And I don't work with people who are not ready to make the change, because I know I can't heal. I don't know what eggs will do to your body. It'll do bad, but I don't know if you'll get the results you want. So I just upfront, I'm very honest with people, and I lose out a lot of business per month. And people might think, but you're in a niche, so you get a lot of vegan population reaching out. That doesn't happen. But it's okay, because I know ethically, when I go to sleep at night, I know that what I'm doing is right. I'm not doing anything wrong. So that's a challenge. Other thing with living in India, you know there are powerful voices, there are nutritionists, and there are dietitians out there with really good, powerful voices, who are entertaining and educating people and telling people to have ghee and milk and paneer, and without any scientific background. And I've reached out to them, I've told them, I've messaged them, I've DM'd them, I've shown them the studies. They just block me off social media, or they stop replying to my emails because they don't have any answers. And it's sold. Tell someone that eat ghee because our ancestors ate it, and all your problems will go away. That's sold. But are you even looking at history? Are you even looking at the consumption of dairy and how it's grown through the years? I mean, when you look at someone like 100 years back, 50 years back, look at your plate. It was like 5-10% dairy. And look at your plate now, ice creams and like cheese, and all this was not there back then.
And there was no processed food during that time, and so much of physical activity, and so many things
Yeah,
were
yeah,
there. Like,
exactly. So it was not there. And even from a very ethical perspective, the way the animals were treated was very, very different. Animals treated, now I'm not even talking about animals being hormonated, because all of them are hormonated. Growth hormones injected into animals increases the production of milk. I'm not even talking about that part. But the living conditions of the animals was bad. The cortisol level, the stress level in the animal is higher. And that, if you're eating that, or if you're eating something that comes out of someone whose cortisol levels are higher, it's going to have an impact on your body. And you don't need it. So you don't need dairy to survive. You don't need, if you talk to a non-vegetarian, they're going to say, no, but you can't survive without meat. Vegetarians are doing it. You talk to a vegetarian, they're going to say you can't survive without dairy. Look at the vegan populations across the world. Look at the movie Game Changer. There are athletes on a 100% vegan diet who are thriving. They're not surviving. They're thriving. They're doing better. They're living longer. They're performing better. Their speed, their performance, and there's studies to show this. So when you have nutritionists encouraging people, I have a client who's 18-year-old working with some nutritionist for a year who had put on a high dairy diet, 18-year-old child with cholesterol. And it makes me feel so bad. And the explanation, the nutrition, this is someone with a degree of nutrition. Explanation the nutritionist told us, when you're losing weight, your blood gets thicker and that's why you have cholesterol. It's normal. And I was like, I mean, even a layman understands what is wrong. This is not okay. You can't have a client, if you're working with a client, you can't have. So it's really sad to see sometimes social media has given all of us, a voice. And when someone's telling you have paneer before going to sleep, it sounds exciting. Everyone loves paneer and you want to do that, but that's not right for your body. That's not okay. So that is a challenge I face all the time. And of course Google, when you have Google, google is it's Google's not going to give you a right or a wrong. Google's going to give you right opinions and wrong opinions. So there are websites, there are blogs which say dairy is good for you. So when I'm talking to a client and trying to explain them, and they would send me a random blog, and then I have to, but I love that process because for me it's educating the client. I honestly do enjoy the process, and I encourage my clients, ask me questions. Ask me questions so you learn and you're going to be empowered to follow something. But yeah, no other challenges besides. I love my work, honestly.
That is amazing. And since you shared that perspective of, everything is there in the Google and there are something written out there, something not written out there, maybe, how we utilize internet might be the biggest thing we can use for our better advantage of our health and wellness. So because of the advent of internet and Netflix is bringing out such documentaries where people are taking life threatening situations upon themselves and bringing out what is actually happening.
Yeah.
Even the companies are saying ki this is good because the money is actually going there. So if all the people who are listening this, if you have not watched the Netflix documentaries of The Game Changers, What the Health, A Plastic
Proper diet.
Ocean, Seaspiracy,
Yeah.
uh, please go ahead and watch it. I mean, you're, at least if you don't want to change your lifestyle, which is fine, but at least you will have some more real knowledge and information, at least for,
Yeah.
you will have it right hand on your. So Roshni, just like you mentioned that, yes, it is evident because people compared ki, uh, few hundred years back we used to have ghee and all these things, but people forget that now that quality, purity and everything has changed. The lifestyle has changed, the processed food etc have come into picture, and that is the thing that they are not understanding. So in this aspect I would want to ask you that what is the most concerning thing or the funny thing you have come across when dealing with so many people in terms of health and fitness, which actually you come across again and again and again?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like you said, no, things have changed. One thing which has changed drastically is when you look at dairy products, they are high in the female sex hormone estrogen. They have a lot of estrogen because when even like a lady, a woman who's giving birth, right after she gives birth, the amount of estrogen in the body is higher because she's just given birth to a baby. Yeah. So the estrogen levels are higher. Dairy products have naturally, even if you're not hormonating the animals, which they mostly do, but if you have a cow in your backyard and you're treating it really nicely and you take the milk, which is, the cow has to get pregnant to give milk. If you take the milk which the cow gives, it has a lot of estrogen, the female sex hormone. 50 years back, getting that little bit of estrogen from animals didn't have any impact on the body because it was that much little estrogen. Now we are exposed to estrogen disruptors or hormone disruptors all around our environment. Example, plastic. Plastic has hormone disruptors. So if you drinking something out of plastic or you're heating plastic in the microwave, then those hormone disruptors get in your food and you're consuming it. So you're getting your hormone disruptors from dairy, you're getting your hormone disruptors from plastic. Things you don't think about. You go into a grocery store, you make a purchase and they give you a receipt. Yeah. That receipt when you're touching it, that receipt has estrogen disruptors. So if your hand has sweat, which all of our hand has, it has sweat glands, or if you've just used sanitizer, or if you just, washed your hands or something, and you're touching the receipt, you see the black marks on the receipt. Your thumbprint actually comes. When your thumbprint comes, all of that has gone into your skin. You are exposing yourself to estrogen disruptors. There are foods we eat unconsciously which have hormone disruptors. There are foods which will have aspartame, artificial sweeteners, which are there in a lot of food, and we don't read the label of everything. If we read the label, we don't understand the words of what is written. Oligosaccharides. How do you know what it is? We just, and we do this now. It is a common habit once in a week to eat outside. Everyone does minimum, more, but once in a week minimum we are eating from outside. So you're exposing yourself to estrogen disruptors and hormone disruptors. That plus that plus that plus that throughout the day is adding up. And then we say, why do I have PCOS? PCOS was not there 50 years back. And then we say, why do I have insulin sensitivity? I've tried everything to lose weight. Why is it not going down? Darling, the weight loss is not because you're not working hard enough. You're working really hard. You're eating less. You're doing everything right. It's the hormonal fluctuation in the body which is causing the weight gain. And unless you learn to fix the hormonal fluctuation, weight gain is going to continue happening. You're not going to lose weight. So that's another misconception which I've seen people, and people are caught now. Everyone has gadgets. You have apps like Healthify Me and MyFitnessPal and Chromometer. These are wonderful, really good apps to track your food, which I don't suggest anyone do it. No one should be tracking their food and eating that way. It's really mentally torturing. And I've personally seen, people who come up to me with eating disorders because they've tracked their calories and macros and tried to reach numbers. So it's not healthy. No one should do it. But if you want, you can track your food. So sometimes clients come up to me, hey, I'm eating only 1,000 calories a day. I'm eating only 800 calories a day, but still I'm not losing weight. I think my body's plateaued. You don't plateau like that. And that's a funny misconception. Athletes who've been training for 6 to 8 months constantly for 4, 5, 6 hours a day, they plateau. Humans, like regular people, don't plateau. You're not plateauing. You're not able to see results because it's not food related. In your case, it could be you can't keep dropping your calories and calories and calories in an attempt to lose weight, because the more you keep dropping your calories, the more hormonal fluctuation you're causing to your body, the more your stress hormones are going up, and the harder it will be to fix that. Yeah. Work with a specialist who understands hormonal fluctuation, who won't ask you to keep eating lesser and lesser and lesser. Eating less is not the approach when it comes to fat loss. Yeah. Or even conditions like diabetes and hypertension, PCOS, thyroid. It's not about eating less, it's about eating the right kind of foods.
That is amazing. I'm sure that people who are exposed to these kind of information and knowledge and the experiences, mostly importantly experiences and real stories, uh, I would suggest you take some time out, do your own research, and think about it. Ki, why are you feeling or living, having the lifestyle or having the kind of diseases or chota mota problems? Why is that? And since when did it start? So you will, once you join back the dots, you will understand what Roshni is trying to say here. So those are some really amazing bombs you have shared, Roshni. Also, now moving on to the next thing, I would definitely like to ask you, what does Roshni do when she's not coaching the clients, working with them, or not with the clients, etc.? So, what are your hobbies?
I am currently in that phase because I'm just recovering from COVID. Mostly when I'm not recovering from COVID, my days are very occupied because I work with clients all across the globe. So it's different time zones. So, work mostly starts at 6 in the morning and goes up to 7, 8 in the evening. And then I put it off, and then it's time for myself. But right now, I was just thinking about this in the morning. It's such a beautiful time for me because I'm recovering from COVID. Workload is much lesser, and it's a forced ban on my physical activity. I can't go work out, and my family wouldn't let me go work out. Um, so I'm genuinely enjoying this time on content consuming. I love listening to podcasts. I love reading books. I love consuming content with regard to my field. I love exploring mental health and doing courses on mental health, certifying myself. That's one branch I want to start exploring and expanding myself into, because it's related. You can't have nutrition and fitness and ignore mental health or mindfulness practices. So that's something I genuinely love and look forward to learning. I really wish I could be a student all my life, or go back to my university and do, courses pertaining to my field now. Because I remember when I was in university, I was so adamant that I did not want to join the family business, which was health and fitness and taking care of fitness studios. And I did everything to stay away from that, which is why I got into psychology, very different. Um, but as fate has it, I had to get into health and fitness. So now I want to sort of expand and get back into psychology and see how I can integrate the two, because so many clients I work with, in terms of nutritional practices, they start sharing their, you know they start sharing their feelings and their emotions to me. And I almost always have to say that, hey, I'm not the right person, I'll connect you with someone. And then I have to connect them with people. So how beautiful would it be if they are able to, reach out to one person for everything. So that's something I love expanding into. I love spending time with my partner. We try and do about one travel every 2 months. So we love exploring new cultures, new places, even if it's like drive away from Bangalore. And Bangalore's so beautifully situated on the map. We have like amazing places all around us. We have, Coorg and Uti, and there's so much around us. We are not too far from, if we drive a little further, we'll see the beach. And if we drive a little bit higher, we're going to see mountains. So we have everything around us. So I love doing that. Yeah, that's about it.
That's amazing. I mean, when you brought in the aspect of traveling, of course, it intrigued
Yeah,
my
I know it.
interest as well.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
amazing to know. So, what would Roshni be if not a fitness and lifestyle expert?
Oh, definitely into mental health. And so before I got into fitness, when you were mentioning that I got a phone call and my dad was hospitalized and I had to travel back immediately, um, I was, I just had given an interview for working at a domestic help center, um, you know, as a case manager. So I was in the mental health field, and I was working with different populations in clinical social work. So clinical social work is a little bit different from clinical psychology, where we work with underprivileged population and low earning income families. So I was working with immigration and immigrants at that time, and I wanted to move into domestic violence. So that was something that I'd just given an interview for. I was really excited, and the interview went really well, and I was pretty sure I'll get the job. And that weekend, I had to leave everything and fly back to Bangalore, which is why I constantly, even now, the population I work best with and show the best results with are middle-aged men. Because personally I got into the field because of my dad and him being overweight and diabetic. And I feel if you're a parent, it's your moral response. It's not a choice, it's your moral responsibility to take care of your health. It's not a choice. Because when I came back to India, there was so much of blame and so much of negativity and hatred towards my dad, because I'd built this life in New York. I'd lived there for 5 years. I made a name for myself. I was earning well, and I'd worked really hard to be where I was. And overnight, someone says, "Okay, shut all that off and just come back." So of course now it's different, and I'm so glad I came back. And I'm able to reach out to more people now because I have my own business and expand it the way I want to expand it. And I understand connecting the dots now. But at that time I was like, if you're a parent, no child has to go through this. Because I was always overloved, over pampered. I didn't even know how to open my own bank account. I didn't know anything, I had to do nothing. So when I came back, suddenly it was all these responsibilities of taking care of a team of men in the fitness industry who never respected me, because being a woman and being in this field younger than them, and then giving them orders, it didn't come because they didn't respect me. It was it was a funny phase, challenging but funny phase. But then you start learning, and then you get into fitness and you certify yourself, and then they start respecting you. So that phase everyone has to go through certain challenges. But if you're a parent, you can't put your children to that. Imagine as a child getting a phone call saying, "Hey, your dad's in the hospital. We are not sure if he'll come back home." No child has to go through that. So, if you have kids, you have to take care of your health. You cannot take that for granted. So, I want to spread that message across to the world now.
That is so beautiful. I mean, I'm sure Ki, At least now people will start taking the ownership and responsibility upon themselves, at least not for them, at least for their children.
Absolutely.
That's huge. That's huge. So, what is the message you want to give to our listeners, and how can the listeners connect with you and learn from you?
You can connect with me through my website. My website has details to all my social media pages, uh, which has a lot of free content, and sign up for my newsletter. I try and give out so much free information in very short, readable paragraphs for daily actionable tips through my newsletter. If there's one message, then I would say it's not hard. Being on a vegan diet, you've done it yourself. So, Somdata, and it's not hard. It's not like boring, tasteless food. In fact, if you follow me on Instagram, you see, burgers and pizzas and everything. I enjoy every. I'm a big foodie, so it's not you can healthy and tasty is actually the same thing. It's really just the same thing, and you can be on a nutrition program for the rest of your life, and it doesn't have to be hard work. It's not hard. Fitness is not hard. Fitness is, in fact, meditative. That 30 minutes, 45 minutes with your headphones just by yourself is that time for yourself. It's fun. It's taking your time away from the world, especially when you share multiple relationships. You're a father, you're a husband, you're a son, you're a brother. You have so many things, so many relationships to take care of. You have employees looking up to you, or you have deadlines and you have a boss who's always behind your back. Then taking the 30-45 minutes, 1 hour is meditative. It's fun. It's like it's playing a game, like cricket. Like, it's not difficult. The first few days in the gym are hard, but besides that, get over that. It's going to be the most fun time of your day. So it's not hard. Fitness is not hard. Nutrition is not hard. Making lifestyle changes is easy. It's a challenge. Take up small challenges. Take up a challenge to eat a cup of fruits every day and see how you feel after a month. Not in terms of your health, of course that will improve, but in terms of mental health, you're going to feel so confident that I took up something and I did it. And it's such a simple thing, just a cup of fruits a day. That's it. And there you go. That's your first step into nutrition. Nutrition is not complicated. It's not sourcing quinoa from South Africa and only that will get you healthy. No, small things, it's not hard. So one message, it's not hard, but dive into it. Start somewhere.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So, everyone who is listening, start taking small steps. And you don't have to do, as Roshni just mentioned, you don't have to run behind quinoa, chia seeds, and this and that. You can just start from whatever is available in your kitchen in terms of simple fruits and vegetables. So, take up the challenge and see your life change for the better. So thank you, Roshni. This was amazing, and I'm going to link down all the website link that Roshni shared in the description box. You can check there. So thank you, Roshni. This was just mind blowing and a complete new domain perspective that people can actually change their lifestyle if they want to, their health, their fitness, everything. So thank you for sharing all these things with us. And I really loved this discussion with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.